The water was murky, and as my body broke the surface in a dive, its cold cleanness doused my skin. In a jumble of actions and feelings, many things happened simultaneously. I felt my head strike something hard and unyielding. At the same time, clumsily and crazily, my body sprawled out of control. I heard, or felt, a loud electric buzzing, an unexplainable inner sensation. It was something like an electrical shock combined with a vibration, like a heavy metal spring being suddenly and sharply uncoiled. Yet it wasn't really a sound or even a feeling, just a sensation. I felt no pain. I heard the underwater sound of crunching, grinding sand. I was lying face down on the bottom. Where? How did I get here? Why are my arms tied to my chest? My thoughts screamed, "Hey, I'm caught!" I felt a small tidal undercurrent lift me slightly and let me settle once more on the bottom. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw light above me. Some of the confusion left. I remembered diving into the bay. Then what? Am I caught in a fish net or something? I need to get out! I tried to kick. My feet must be tied or caught too. Panic seized me. With all my willpower and strength, I tried to break free. Nothing happened. Another tidal swell lifted and rolled. What's wrong? I hit my head. Am I unconscious? Trying to move is like trying to move in a dream. Impossible. But I'll drown. Will I wake up in time? Will someone see me? I can't be unconscious, or I wouldn't be aware of what's happening. No, I'm awake. I felt the pressure of holding my breath begin to build. I'd have to breathe soon. Another tidal swell lifted me. Fragments of faces, thoughts, and memories spun crazily across my consciousness. My friends, my parents, things I was ashamed of. Maybe God was calling me to come and explain these actions. Johnny! A somber voice echoed down some eerie corridor, almost as a summons. God? Death? I'm going to die! I don't want to die! Help me, please! Johnny! Doesn't anyone care that I'm here? I've got to breathe! Johnny! Are you alright? Kathy! My sister sees me! Help me, Kathy! I'm stuck! The next tidal swell was a little stronger than the rest and lifted me a bit higher. I fell back on the bottom with broken shells, stones, and sand grating into my shoulders and face. Did you dive in here? Are you looking for shells? No, I'm caught down here. Grab me. I can't hold my breath any longer. Did you dive in here? It's so shallow. I heard Kathy clearly now. Her shadow indicated she was now above me. I struggled against panic, but I knew I had no more air. Everything was going dark. I felt Kathy's arms around my shoulders, lifting. Oh, please, dear God, don't let me die. Kathy struggled, stumbled, then lifted again. Oh, God, how much longer? Everything was black, and I thought I was falling while being lifted. Just before fainting, my head broke the water surface. Air, beautiful, life-giving air. I choked in oxygen so quickly I almost gagged. Gasping, I gulped in mouthfuls. Oh, thank you, God, thank you, I managed. Hey, are you okay? Kathy asked. I blinked to clear my mind and dissolve the confusion. It didn't seem to work because I saw my arm slung lifelessly over Kathy's shoulder. Yet I felt it was still tied to my chest. I looked down at my chest. My arms were not tied. I realized with a growing horror that my limbs were dangling motionlessly. I couldn't move them. In the confusion, Kathy took charge. She called to a nearby swimmer on an inflated raft. Together, they wrestled me onto it and pushed it towards shore. I felt the raft beneath me slide against the sandy beach. I tried to get up, but felt pinned against it. People began to hurry over to see what had happened. Soon, there was a crowd hovering above me, faces looking down in curiosity. Their stares and whispers made me feel embarrassed, uncomfortable, and even more confused. Kathy, please make them leave. Yes, everyone, stand back. Someone, call an ambulance. Move away, please, she needs air. Kathy's boyfriend, Butch, knelt beside me. His lean frame shielded me from the crowd, now moving back. You okay, kid? He asked. His large, dark eyes, usually smiling smiling and full of good-natured fun, were clouded with concern. Kathy, I can't move. I was frightened. I could see they were too. Hold me. I am, Joni. She lifted my hands to show that she was grasping them firmly. But I can't feel it. Squeeze me. Kathy bent over and held me close. I couldn't feel her hug. Can you feel this? She touched my leg. This? She squeezed my forearm. No, I cried. I can't feel it. Can you feel this? Her hand slid from my arm to rest on my shoulder. Yes, yes, I could feel it. Relief and joy suddenly came over us. At last, somewhere in my body, I could feel something. As I lay there on the sand, I began to piece things together. I had hit my head diving. I must have injured something to cause this numbness. I wondered how long it would last. Don't worry, I reassured Butch, Kathy, and myself. The Lord won't let anything happen to me. I'll be all right. The attendants carefully placed me in the back of the ambulance. Butch took her hand and said softly, I'll follow in the car. Then he nodded sternly to the driver. Be careful with her, he instructed. I was left to my own thoughts and prayers as a siren wailed outside. I looked through the city speeding by outside. The Lord is my shepherd. People on curbs stared curiously. I shall not want. Cars pulled over to let us pass. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. The ambulance slowed and turned down a busy boulevard. He restoreth my soul. I couldn't collect my thoughts enough to pray. I clung to memorize promises from the Bible. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. The ambulance siren growled into silence. The driver backed up to the doors of the hospital. I spent the next 2 years of my life in hospitals. I slowly came to grips with the fact that I would forever be a quadriplegic. I went through times of depression and anger. I lashed out at God and those who tried to help me. My sister Diana was concerned for me. One day she said, I'm going to bring a friend over to meet you. Who? Why? Steve Estes. You don't know him. He has a love for the Lord and the knowledge of scriptures that really ought to help. Sure, I volunteered without much enthusiasm. Steve came over to the house that evening, and the minute he walked through the door, he shattered all my preconceived notions about him. Joni, he said, isn't it great what God is doing in different people's lives today? Who? What? Where? I was too embarrassed to ask. In our church, we've seen God's Spirit make a lot of people really come alive. One couple was on the verge of divorce, and God brought them back together. One guy was heavy into dope, and Christ saved him. Steve, what you say is like fresh new truth. Please come back and tell me more. Sure, I'd like that. Why don't we have a Bible study every Wednesday? Great, I answered. Steve came over to the house that evening, and the minute he walked through the door, he shattered all my preconceived notions about him. In one of our study sessions, Steve said to me, Joni, your body in the chair is only the frame for God's portrait of you. You know, people don't go to an art gallery to admire frames. Their focus is on the quality and character of the painting. This made sense. I could relax and not worry so much about my appearance. God was painting me in just the perfect way so I could enhance the character of Christ within. This gave a whole new perspective to the chair. Once, it had been a terrible burden, a trial for me. Then, as I saw God working in my life, it became only a tool. Now, I could see it as a blessing. For the first time in my paralyzed life, it was indeed possible for the wheelchair to be an instrument of joy in my life.